Hello, this is Christina, your host today. It's a new episode of KSM Podcast, Growing Business Online with Christina. And I'm really excited today to have my special guest speaker, far away from Australia, a lady, Alexandra Alex Quinn. Alex, welcome to the new episode of KSM Podcast.
Thank you for having me, Christina. It's such an honor to be on your podcast and to share about my recent updates and also my co-authoring book with Brian Tracy.
Congratulations. And yeah, and we really have uh, just what we are going to talk today, and we really have what you're I can not wait to hear what you are going to share with us. Just before we start, for our audience, I'm in the other opposite of you, in the other part of the world, in Europe, in Serbia. You're in Australia, in Sydney, if I'm good enough with that. So introduce yourself, please, and tell us a little bit about you.
Sure. So, yes, I'm now in Sydney, Australia, but I was born and raised in China in poverty in a very small town in the southern part of China in Canton. And so growing up, always not enough, not enough money, not enough food, not enough love, because I was taken away from my parents when I was 2 years old, and they was so poor. We are so poor that my parents have to go to a far distant cities to earn money, and I've been sent to be raised in a communal home where I sleep next to the livestock, the pigs and chickens, and my fun was chasing the chickens in the yard. So that's my upbringing. And then how did I get to where I am today? Co-authoring a book with Brian Tracy. Um,
Congratulations.
yeah, it's such a journey from a little town, grew up in poverty, and my father always wanted to have a boy because, in that time, it's one child policies. And my mom was told me that how disappointed he was knowing that I was a girl, was not a boy to carry forward his family names. And so that brought a lot of shame and lots of guilt to me. And deep down, always feel not good enough because I'm not good enough to even be a boy to make my parents
You're
proud.
not good. You're not good enough, even that you're a girl. Oh my God.
And in that era, it's my mother always feel, like the woman's worth was solely based on her ability to give birth to a boy. And so as my mother, she didn't have wasn't able to give birth to a boy. And so as you can imagine, back in those days, what kind of a social expectation of a woman and that what that impact to the next generation. So I can totally feel that, a lot of women probably struggle with self-worth and struggle with self-esteem. And so when I came to Australia, I I was so, I couldn't speak English. English is my fourth language, and it took me 6 months to find work and a lot of struggle at the time. But then I realized all this struggle is because of my internal self-image, how I see myself versus how I project to the world. So even though, yes, I have a great success, I was later on, I've become an auditor. I work for PwC, one of the world's biggest consulting firm, and I work in the big four banking industry in here in Australia. So lots of external success and achievements.
And just to ask you, were you like a teenage when you came to Australia, or like a little bit adult, like maybe 15, 16 years old, just to get to move from China?
No, I actually came to Australia back in 2006, and back then I was already in my mid-20s. And so I was already had a very successful career in China. I was, I got, when people still looking for jobs at my university, I already got my PwC offer 6 months before I graduated. So, and then I have like
And you wanted to
very,
say that you started career in your country and then move. Oh, that's excellent. Yeah.
yeah, I was working in China already and I had very successful career in China. So when I said to my family and friends and say I'm moving to Australia and start over again, people thought I was crazy. Because like you has you have everything in China. You have friends, families, you have a successful career, and you can choose any job you want in China because you have such a success, resume looks so wonderful and the achievement that you made was phenomenal and you can have anything you want in China. Why would you give up everything, every success into a new country as a for immigrant, first generation immigrant? And it's hard. Everybody knows when you move to a new country, you don't know the people, you don't have a network, you don't know the culture. It's a lot of, doubt and a lot of, uncertainties. And why would you put yourself through that process just to survive in another country, being treated as a second citizen? Why would you do that? But I come from a different mindset. I was like, at the time, I knew the environment in China was so much pressure on a woman. And I need because of the stereotypes and the social expectation, the male-dominated societies, for women to survive and to thrive, it's very difficult comparing to other countries. And at the time I was working in PwC, I work 70 to 80 hours in a week on average, So it's very long hours and very hard work. And so I was like inspired, maybe there's something different because in during my university year, I did 1 year exchange program to study in Europe, in Vienna. So I knew this world has a better place for women. And so I was like, if I want to see the world, I was young then in my early 20th, you're here on this planet Earth to experience everything that you can experience. So I was like, why not try out? I have nothing to lose. Yes, I have a very successful career, but I wanted to see the world. My world is not just limited to China. So then at the time, because I was an accountant, I could go to New Zealand. I could go to Canada. I could come to Australia because all these countries, they want hardworking accountants. And I thought, yeah, I'm a pretty hardworking accountant, working 75 to 80 hours a week, I'm pretty hardworking. And then I choose Australia because the weather is nicer and also it's well known for its work-life balance. And I thought, well, maybe I can have a different life. So in 2006, with one-way ticket, one backpack, I landed in Sydney, Australia, and start my brand new life, knowing nobody, have no connections, didn't know the culture, and I couldn't speak the language very well back then. So it took me
It's
6 months.
a very interesting journey, and very it's so you're so courage lady, very with a lot of encouragement because you wanted to try, you went to Europe but I think when you mention Australia, maybe it's to a little bit closer to your country. I mean, in terms of traveling than in the other parts of the world, because it's Asia, it's maybe closer like to New Zealand, all those countries, than like Germany, Austria or Canada and other countries. Yeah,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
and,
I
and
love
when you landed there, you wanted to continue. So I just like a little bit, just wanted to ask you to break through. And you mentioned it was six. You needed 6 months, and you wanted to
well,
continue.
it took me 6 months to find my job. That's how hard it was, even though I had all the all the university degrees, had work experiences, but it's still a very difficult. Everything you do, it's hard, right? When you just started it in a new country and everything, it's hard. But every beginning, it's hard. But the message is do not allow your beginning to dictate your destiny. And so at the time, I'll say I'm so determined to make my life here in Australia. And so, it's just a matter of time. So wherever you are, listeners, wherever you are in your journey, every beginning it's hard. And so you just need to have the faith and have the hope that everything is going to work out. And so that's what I started is back into the audit field in one of the accounting firms here in Australia that I started my career. And then from there, I go from being an auditor and then move to banking and move to regulatory reporting and to, have a rising career in banking. So it took a while, but in those years of working here in Australia, the underlying belief system didn't change. I always felt I was not good enough, always felt that I'm not worthy enough. And so I always worked a lot harder than my colleagues. And what that mean to me is I got burnout very soon in every single job that I did. And then that started to make me realize that, hey, there's a pattern in here. What's going on? I thought it was my being an auditor may be the problem. So I changed from being an auditor back into the banking, and then from the banking to the Westpac, which is the employee's choice of organization. But every single role that I was in, I got burnout. Until one day I was playing with my daughter, and maybe subconsciously I'm influencing her that like, mommy worked so hard. And so I was having this conversation with her, and she looked up and she said, mommy, you always ask us to dream big and achieve high. So what's your dream? And I couldn't answer. Like I start to reflect on, wow, what's my dream? I actually don't know. And at that moment, I feel like a failure. I was telling to my children to do something that I wasn't doing. And I thought I had all this success, but I didn't even know what my dream was. So that was a really hard realization. And one question from my daughter just changed the entire trajectory of my life. And I start to ask myself, what is my dream? If I don't follow my dream, how can I expect my children, my next generation, to follow their dreams? What kind of impression do I want to leave upon them? Do I want them to remember mommy as a liar, that she tell us to do something that she wasn't even doing? And I start to realize children learn from what we do, how we set an example for, then just following our words to tell them what to do, right? And so then I realized if I want my children to have greater future, to really follow their dreams, I must find my dreams and make my dreams become a reality. So that led me onto a journey of self-discovery, and then led me onto Bob Proctor. And very fortunately to be personally mentored by Bob Proctor and become his certified consultant to deliver and facilitate his coaching programs to help people. And then by applying his principle of, keep working on yourself and understand who you are, and, applying those mental tools to not only to help my clients to achieve extraordinary results, because I do have clients turn annual income into monthly income, and I have clients turn monthly income into weekly income, and I have clients 4 or 5 times their income in less than 6 months. So those are like, for people would think that's extraordinary, that's something impossible. But I just want to inspire you, anything, everything, it's possible. whatever that you set your mind to. And so I start to apply that to myself. Like, who do I want to be in my inner circle? Who do I want to be associated with? And then somehow I attracted this opportunity to co-author a book with Brian Tracy. And because
Congratulations. I'm so excited when I saw that you promoted on social media, and I was like, oh my, it's really unbelievable, and I'm super happy. Just congratulate from my heart, Alex, on your achievement to write a book with Mr. Brian Tracy. It's really achievable. It's a really huge pleasure. I
yeah,
admire you, really.
thank you. And so then there is a process to be interviewed and to see what your topic, because Brian Tracy is putting his name on the line with these co-authors, right? So then was very fortunate because of the work that I did with Bob Proctor and also the client result I'm being able to demonstrate. And so I'm very fortunate to be selected to be one of the co-authors with Brian Tracy on this cracking the business
Are
model.
you both of you only co-authors, or you have other people?
Yes, I have other co-author in this book as well. And so that's why it's so easy to read. And each chapter is just very short, very easy to read. And it's contributed of like the top players in the business world about the current business strategies that it's working in the industry. So it's a very valuable book where you not only get my voice, my contribution in this book, but also Brian Tracy contributed to this book, and also other co-authors also from all around the world, the top players also contributed in this book. So it's a very informative book to share about what is currently working in the marketplace. So you
And
will get
what is your, can you share with us maybe something from your story and where we can buy that book?
absolutely. So there's a
If you
digital
wanted to
form.
share something specific for our audience, if you wanted to
Yeah, so
share.
the chapter that I'm talking about in this book is called Inner Leadership. So it's about leading from within. So a lot of leadership out there is about leading others, about managing others. But my philosophy is you can't lead others unless you know how to lead yourself to the success that you desire. So it's very individualized, working on you because you are the most important person in your world. And so this model is all become, in the leadership is actually, it's all around you. So number one is about embracing your inner power, embracing the authentic you. Once you embrace who you are, what you are capable of, then you are more in a position of growing yourself because you want to grow. There's a law of grow, or you're either growing or you disintegrate. So that is natural law. You see the tree, if the tree is not growing, the tree is actually dying. So for as a person, as we know ourselves, we want to be a better version of ourselves. When we be able to bring out the better version of ourselves, then we learn how to bring others become a better version of themselves. So it's about knowing yourself, and then growing yourself, and you growing others. So that is how the inner leadership model arise. And so we also talk about why mindset is so important. And I also share this graphic about how there's research about the bias research, negative emotion bias research. It tells us that, we pay twice as much attention on a negative event than to a positive event.
And
So
why is like that? Why we
it's
do that?
proven that it's a human psychology. It just hardwire that out as a human, we pay twice as much of attention to the negative impact or negative event to the positive effect in impact. For example, everyone still remember 9/11, right? So that is a negative event, but that happened years ago, but people still associate with that. We still know of World War I, World War II, because they have significant impact. Yeah. But when we say, what is the positive impact? Can you bring an example? And people's mind will go blank. Right? So that's the same thing. People remember twice as, the negative event twice more than the positive event.
Yeah, it's so true because just to add something like when you have something, especially nowadays in social media or newspapers, magazines, and it's something like that. People, if someone is so good in mathematics, or just have some winners or get some rewards of, and people just, it's like that's normal. But if something is wrong, it's something negative or negative things, people remember that more and more and speak about it.
Yeah.
And sometimes negative promotion, talking someone, moving some people into the positive mode. I mean, I'm just thinking aloud, just to, it's everywhere in the world, not just, and because of that, sometimes and this is such a good point of view. Why is it, as you mentioned, maybe it's psychological part, of our
Yeah.
brain.
And the marketers a lot of time use that. And so you can see the TV shows and TV news, a lot of negativities there. And we are entering depressions, and we are here the worst, the worst economy in the world, whatever that may be, because our human mind are hardwired for survive. So when there's a negative event, then our mind all perk up. That means we need to survive. What do I need to do now to survive? And so,
Like
but
a
when there's
surviving mode. It's
yes,
surviving mode.
yes, yes. So that's why we pay twice as much attention, because we, as a human mind, we wanted to survive. And so as a leader, if you are a leader, is already self-criticizing, like, you suffer the self-doubt, and you also very critical about yourself. Then when you are leading a team, then you are communicating to your team very naturally. You will have more, things to improve than the things that you did well, right? Because how you speak to yourself is how you speak to your team. So when you're speaking to yourself, I could do better here, better there, and then all your focus is right on what can I do better. Then you focus on the things that I can celebrate. And so, I mean, like you put more focus on the things that you can improve than those ones that you can celebrate. So when you are communicate to your team member, and your team member, they will pay twice as much attention to the things need to improve than the things that can celebrate. So say, for example, I give this picture to illustrate, right? And so, for example, this manager, he's very self-critic. So he have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points to improve and only 2 points to celebrate. When he communicates to the other team member, the team member will remember and magnify the things to improve. So this team member, as her perception will become, I have 10 things to improve and only 2 things to celebrate. And how would that make that person feel? Would be so overwhelmed. Oh my gosh, I put so
It's
much
hard.
effort.
It's going to be so hard to improve 10 things and you have only 2 things to celebrate. It's like, what do you think that you are instead of that person who need to improve 10 things, or me or whoever?
Yes. And so that become a lot of people feel not being appreciated. And a lot of people at workplace feeling being undervalued. And a lot of people that feel they're not doing good enough. Right. And so that's because then it got reinforced by the team manager and say, well, you got 10 things to improve and 2 things to celebrate. And so that put a lot of pressure on the person. And so that's why when someone is overwhelmed and they're feeling devaluated, then they don't tend to take actions and things just go downward spiral. But if we can work with the leaders, and if you are business owners, you are a leader, you are in a manager position, that you are a leader. And so maybe in a family, you are a family leader. If you're a leader for your children, you're the leader for your family. Every single one of us is a leader in some way or form. So don't
It's like a natural part of our, like mothers to be a leader to their kids,
that's
to
right.
lead them. And
Yes, every single one of us is a leader. So every single one of us needs to train ourselves to become a better leader so we can lead out this human race to a better place, right? And so imagine if this leader actually start to work on himself or herself to start to celebrate more than you criticize yourself. Then if you as a leader, if you can find 5 things to celebrate and 2 things to improve, then when you communicate to the other person, even if the other person didn't do this work, even this person still pay twice as much attention to the negative than the positive, you still have 4 things to improve, but 5 things to celebrate. And that will actually inspire action, inspire people to become better because they, oh my gosh, I did pretty good. They feel good. When they feel good about themselves, they're more likely to improve and they're more likely to take action. And so that will then much better than the first scenario, feel overwhelmed, undervalued, and unappreciated. But the second one, the same situation. But if we can train ourselves to celebrate more than criticizing ourselves.
And when you mention you, I just have something in my mind. It's up. When you celebrate and when you're in positive mode, you produce your body produces positive chemistry.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And then you go into a positive cycle of having more positive facts in your life to celebrate. You
I'm celebrating today having you as a special guest speaker. I'm celebrating your book. I'm celebrating all this. It's going to be like a masterclass. Just talk about leaders and what you wrote in your book. So thank you for sharing that. And I'm really in very, very positive mode. And I'm I am really celebrating.
Fantastic. That's what the message is. Everything starts from us as a leader. Every single one of us is a leader, and we lead from within. The confidence comes from within. The courage comes from within. And by knowing what you are capable of, by knowing that you can take responsibilities, not to victimize yourself, but when you take on the responsibility, then you take back the power because you do have the power to change everything in your life and make decision for your life and bring out the best version of yourself. And once you do that, the ripple effect to the people around you is phenomenal. And so that is one of the things I talk about in this book about really empowering leader to lead from within and lead by example, by celebrating more, by bringing more positivities in this world a lot more. So that's my book about inner leadership.
That's congratulations. And that, when you mention it, people, leaders, like teachers, professors, managers, and they're leaders as well. They lead their classroom, they lead their, and if they are so good experts, if their business, what they do. But if they're so negative person as executive, CEO, whoever, just imagine just poor those employees. And this is so important, as you said, empowering. I think that it's something in connection. If we don't work inside of us as a personas, as a natural path, what we have to bring to and to spread about us. If we are negative and over unvalued people, they feel stressed, as you mentioned. So you could be the best of the best in the world, but you're a negative person, and who will work with you? People just don't like to work with that, and
Yeah, that's a great point because people wanted to develop themselves who wouldn't like to, right? So, but people want to be in an environment they feel safe to learn, they feel safe to grow. And so,
and they feel and where they feel credible and very respectable
yeah,
between colleagues, between leaders and others.
that's right.
Like
And
every single person in the world, like a kid, like an adult, like a student, whoever may be in this world. We need such a good environment to be respected, to support each
absolutely.
other as a human being, first and foremost.
Absolutely. Well said. So every single one of us wanted to be heard, wanted to be understood, wanted to be appreciated. So those just basic human needs. So if we as a leader, we can train ourselves to make sure that we are heard, we are understood, that we are appreciated, then we're more likely to listen to somebody else and make sure they are heard, they are understood, they are appreciated. So everything is actually come down to developing yourself, your ability to make yourself feel loved, make yourself feel heard, understood, and appreciated. So it's a lot of work around ourselves. Because we cannot serve with an empty heart, with an empty cup, right? So in order to serve more people, we need to make sure our cup is filled and filled so much so that it spill out and it radiate out. And so you actually have the capacity to help more people. And each and every one of us are leaders. And yet I work a lot with people in the financial services industry because I was an accountant. So I work with accountants, bookkeepers, mortgage brokers, financial planner, and
And
insurance.
when you mention those people, clients, what is the core of your work with them? Maybe for our listeners, just to be clear on that, because you are from
Yeah, I work
accountant
with,
industry and now, but you don't still work in account as accountant, as a
no,
bookkeeper. You're much more in coaching industry.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Just to
So
divide that just for our listeners.
yeah, I used to be an accountant, but now I coming into become a mindset and brand messaging coach for business owners in the financial and accounting industry. And so they have this mindset of not feeling adequate because in the financial services industry, there are lots of regulations and very high expectation of their professionalisms. And so a lot of people in this industry feel they are not qualified enough, or they feel they're also stuck in a certain mindset of very logical. You have to look at the numbers, you have to look at the statistic, you have to look,
Low,
you know,
whatever.
yeah, so a lot of very analytical and logical mind at play. And so that is exactly why their business is not growing. Because if you keep thinking of the same way, then you make the same decision, same choices, and you have the same results. And so for my clients, how they can turn annual income into monthly income or monthly income into weekly income? Because their mind start to open up for possibilities. What if I can? Right? What if you can? Would you ever imagine that?
If I can do it, and you can do it, Bob Proctor. If I can
Right.
do it, and you can do it.
Yes, anybody has that potential. And just the traditional education system didn't give us the knowledge to do that. So is that okay if I share 3 key things that I work with my clients to help them to turn their annual income into monthly income?
Here you are.
Awesome. So basically there's 3 steps. As I simplified it to 3 steps to really start to open your mind to entertain the ideas bigger than the reality. So number 1, understand there's 3 types of goals. One is called A-type goal, where you know how to achieve it already. And the second goal is B-type goal, that you settle for what you think you can. You're kind of settling for what you think. That's already limitation in there because limited by your thinking. And there's another way I teach my clients to set their goal is, what do you really want in this lifetime? You have only one life to live. And what do you really want in this lifetime? And that is very difficult for some people to entertain ideas. What do I really want in life? Well, as soon as your mind go there, your mind will start to go, well, but you don't have the money, but you don't have the education, but you don't have, you're not living in the right neighborhood, so on and so forth. You start to question yourself and limit yourself. So I want you to put behind everything behind. You only have one life to live. What do you want to achieve in this lifetime? What do you want to really want? Your job is not figuring the how. Your job is to figuring out the what. What do you really want? So that's number 1. Get clarity on your goal. Get clarity on what do you really want. That's the step number 1. Step number 2 is about changing your beingness. So a lot of traditional education system has taught us to, when you have the money, then you will be able to travel around the world. You'll feel on top of the world. So you see the pattern? When I get the MBA degrees, then I'll be able to get the better job. Then I'd be able to live my dream house. So it's like, when I have, then I will be able to do, and I will be happy. So it's about have, do, and be. But what my clients, they need to change the entire thinking system to first of being the person who you want to become. Then you do what that person would do. Then you can have whatever that person's results. So it's completely different. Thinking differently is the be, do, and have. First of all, so that second thing is about who do you need to become in order to be the right match to the goal, right? So if you want to turn your annual income into monthly income, then who do you need to be? Right. So one of my clients, she was like, oh my gosh, then I need to have my own business. Then I need to do this. And so she created who she needs to become, which I also share in this book as well, her story, how she turned her monthly income into weekly income at age of 69. And so very inspiring story. So I totally encourage you guys to read her stories. So it's like you need to be, define who you need to be, and then you do this, what this person would do, make the decision like that person, and then you can have what that person would have, because you can only attract what you are in harmony with. So that's your beingness defined your vibration, and your vibration will attract the resources that you need to accomplish that. So that's the self-image, the second step. The third step is about changing the belief system. It's very difficult to change the belief system because when we are living in this, your own perception of this world, it's so real. It's so real. And it's very difficult to think beyond your body, to think beyond your circumstances, and to think beyond this time. For a lot of accountants I work with, they was like, oh my gosh, I don't have enough time. But every single one of us has 24 hours. We need to, time is just a concept. But when you stretch it, there's no time. So you have all the time. Every single one has the similar, exact same amount of time. We all have a birthday, we have a death day, and everything in between is up for you to create.
And what do you think that, as we said, we have all of us have 24 hours. Do we need to think about ourselves, to work on ourselves? Not just work as accountant and as a designer, as a manager, but we need to think about our health, our spiritual side, or inside of us. This is a way how we can connect, not just only business. This is some part that we can change our behavior, change our goals, change our belief system. And we need to work on ourselves. What do you think that is in connection? What you are teaching and coaching your clients?
Yeah. And understand the belief system has two levels. One at a conscious level and one at a subconscious level. So maybe some of you, find it's very difficult to entertain the idea to turn annual income into monthly income. But I would encourage you, would that be possible to double your revenue in the next 6 to 12 months? Can you entertain that idea at a conscious level? And then maybe your subconscious level don't believe that at all. You'll be like, that's too good to be true. That's too crazy to be true. But you can only conceive what you believed. So if you don't believe it, then it's not going to even conceive. It's not going to even survive the idea. So first of all, you need to open up your mind to entertain, what if I could double my revenue? Then your mind will start to think, oh, when I double my revenue, then I will be able to do this. I need to put this team in place. I need to put this system in place. And your mind starts to entertain and find answers.
Yes, this is so good. And are they going to ask you, how can I double my income?
So that is where people get stuck. The fun is not in finding out a lot of people get stuck
or what I need to do to double it from monthly, the same amount, to be weekly, as your client done. Maybe you can share with us just a little bit, maybe some points for that.
The how is the journey of figuring the how. Is the fun in figuring the how. When I work with my clients, they would not even start if they get stuck in the how. So they need to learn to let go of the how and just believing in the what. Believing in the what, and then along this journey, I give them all the mental tools they need so that they start to see a bigger ideas and start the ideas to come, and they have the ability to sort these ideas and then to action on those ideas. And that one thing led to the other, one thing led to the other, one thing led to the other. And that is the how will come together, but not all at once. Not all at once. And so you need to develop your own belief system to be able to continue on this journey. And changing belief system is very difficult to do it on your own. And so that's why every single one of us needs someone who believes in us more than we believe in ourselves. So that's my role to my clients, show them the roadmap, show them step by step so they don't feel overwhelmed. And also I'm being that person believing in this process, because this process has helped millions of people all around the world to achieve their goals and achieve their dreams, however big they are, however small they are. it worked 1000%.
And as you mentioned, your daughter once at the beginning of this show today, and she asked you such a great question. What is your dream? So all those people, all those entrepreneurs, and maybe they are in the same position as you were, because they don't know what are their dreams. And you are here to help them. So for all your listeners who wanted to change your belief system, just connect with Alex and she can help you a lot. As she
Yeah.
changed her life, she can change yours.
Yes. And also I do have helped a lot of clients to change their result. On average, they pretty much double their revenues in their business, in their income. And so I thank you so much for having me here, Christina. And so I'm happy to gift your listeners a digital copy of my book with Brian Tracy, Cracking the Business Mastery Code. And so I'm happy to provide you with the link so your listeners
Oh,
can.
this is gift for Liz. Oh my God. Thank you so much for sharing that. I will put all links. I will put I will put all links to below this episode today. And thank you. And I think that this is such a huge. You're such a you are such a huge giver. I mean, thank you so much for sharing that. And I asked you today many questions, and anyway, you will be again my guest speaker. However, and what I wanted to ask you also, just maybe some how people can reach out to you. I will put all links, and also before we ramp up call today, do you have such final message for listeners in terms to change their life, to change their behavior, to change their belief system? And I think this today call is such a amazing and very extraordinary masterclass with you. And I'm so happy about it.
Thank you. Thank you, Christina, for your generosities of inviting me to be on your podcast. And yes, so every single listeners, you are more than welcome to download a book, a digital copy of this book. And also, I want to gift 3 people out of your listeners. Reach out to Christina of 3 people, a free spot, complimentary spot to attend my 5-day challenge. That it's one-on-one with me for half an hour each day, and to really start to allow you to reset your mindset and plan out your 2025. That's my New Year's gift to your listeners.
Oh my, thank you so much. Thank you so much. You're so generous. I'm so happy with that. Thank you so much for giving for that gift, So for all your listeners, just connect and you will get to be on challenge with amazing Alexandra Quinn. Alex, and you're also on social media. I mean, on Instagram, Facebook. You have your Facebook group. I know that. Do you still run it?
Yes. So so you can find more information from dreamwarriorscoaching.com.au. And also my social media handle is somewhere along this podcast. And yes, so you can find out more information from my Facebook group as well. It's called Successful Entrepreneur Mindset for Dream Warriors. And you can search on Facebook, and you can, and also I have a networking event as well, for business owners who are looking to connect with each other. And so that's also happy to invite some of your guests to attend our monthly business owner networking event. It's online about connecting business owners from all around the world.
I'm so interested, to be honest. I'm such a good connector, so a networker. So I would like to join as well to your network.
Fantastic. That would be great. The next the networking event, we do it monthly. So just definitely reach out to Christina or myself on dreamwarriorscoaching.com.au. So my email is alex@dreamwarriorscoaching.com.au. So you can email me about whatever information that you want to. And so let me know your feedback as well. And if there's anything I can add value to you and to your business, your network, please let me know. I'm more than happy because I'm a big collaborator. I'm a big, connector. I might know somebody that can refer to you or connect you with to expand your business. I'm more than happy to do that.
And I must say that you really touched my heart because through that, what you shared today, and you can see how I'm happy because I really feel like, you know, and just like it's a really pleasure, and I really enjoyed your story and your conversation today. And before you ramp up, just final message to encourage our listeners if they wanted to start business or they have existing business and they wanted to change something, or if they're stuck just to change their belief system, or if they think that they don't have enough clients, just about it, and we will ramp up the call.
Yeah, so last message is really believe in yourself. Dream big, achieve high, and believing in your dreams.
Thank you, Alex. It's such a pleasure having you in 2025. See you very soon again in our new episode. Thanks again, and have a lovely day. And bye for
Thank you so
now.
much.
Bye for
Thank you so much
now.
for having me. Bye for
Thank you for
now.
joining me. Bye for now.